the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is AVWeek, episode 88, recorded Friday, April 26th, 2013. Quantify soon.
Ready.
AVWeek.
Performing scan.
Week.
Online.
This is AVWeek. It's time for AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audiovisual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host for the day. Thank you so very much for joining us. With us this week is George Tucker. He is the engineering coordinator for World Stage. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Hi, everybody.
Also with us is the senior curriculum development person for Crestron. His name is Kevin Iselli. How are you, sir?
Great, Tim. Thanks.
And last but not least is the late and great Matt Scott. How are you?
I am doing fabulous.
He's from Omega Audio Video. He's 15 minutes behind because he's in Canada. That was a Max Headroom joke, just for those of you. Just this week.
But we only get 50 minutes every hour out of him, so.
Well, that's true, yeah.
I'm only paying attention for 5, so.
Yes, but 5 minutes with view is like, never mind. All right, we're going to talk about OLED. Surprise, surprise. Laser projectors as headlights. Yeah. and the MPAA and fair use, quite possibly. But first, I have a question for you guys really quick. And this week, Custom Retailer is a magazine, and they're changing their name to Technology Integrator. Is this a big deal? The fact of the name change and the shift in I guess, focus, George?
I think it's search engine related.
Okay.
You know, I mean, who looks up the other title? It's tech, and you get tech decisions or tech this or tech something, and you're going to probably get a hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kevin, is this a big deal?
Yeah, it's the buzzword change. I mean, if we look at what's been happening even in the past years, let's think of it as the dissolving of the AV industry and the creation of the technology industry.
That's true. Mr. Scott, is this kind of the further development? A couple of years ago, CEDIA changed you guys from custom retailers to Eskies.
That's correct. I have a graphic.
You have a graphic, yes. Is this kind of the same thing where they're just kind of developing out of the custom retailer and into technology?
I think so. I think they're trying to become a little bit more relevant. And I have a lot of friends over there. Personally, I hate name changes and logo changes and all that jazz. I really wish some of these companies would just, be strong in what you are. But at the same time, it does better reflect what's going on in our industry. There's not that many custom retailers left, in all honesty. I know in our town we have one.
Are you it?
No, I'm not a retailer.
Oh, yeah.
But we only have one custom shop left. Now, there's a bunch of custom integrators, but very few of them have large, expansive showrooms that would normally be considered a custom retail location.
That's probably fair. All right, moving on from the folks over at Engadget. You can get a Mercedes-Benz, and they will throw in a pair of projectors for free. That's right, a pair of projectors for free. They're using laser projectors as headlights. Sort of, kind of. Kevin, you before we started, you said that you've actually seen these, we're going to say in action.
Well, there was a video.
There was a video.
So I've seen the marketing diatribe on it, if you will.
Okay.
It's cute. The content. The only thing I'm really concerned about are those projectors 4K.
Jeez. You know what?
And will they do 3D?
Yes,
they will.
There's
a left and right. There's a left and right.
Stack.
Yeah.
Let's passive stack.
The concept, and as I was reading the whole article, I still came out to so what they were describing it as you could actually have the information or your turn information on your GPS appear out in front of the car. Well, what a way to scare the hell out of the driver, number one. Number two, what's the projection gonna end up on?
The road?
Sure. And then since you can project anything, can you imagine what's going to get projected?
Oh, yeah. That was my first thought.
Well, you'd have to hack it, wouldn't you? I mean, you don't think they'd give them an actual AV jack to an HDMI port?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it does.
Really?
It says.
Yeah, I missed that
If you read-
part.
If you've read the article, sir.
I did. I
But I'm
scanned
guessing
this article.
you're going to have to, open up the console and remove the little jumper that only makes it work when it's in parking mode. To add in your own.
This car.
Yes.
Yeah, I wondered about the lasers, too. I mean, they said laser projectors, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a polarized windshield that maybe you can see something due to the refraction of the light and the atmospheric, ionic, whatever. We'll just come up with some buzzwords to say that. But
Synergistic
is it possible?
integration.
Synergistic
I love
integration.
it.
Very
Wait,
nice.
that was already used. Come on.
Oh, you can reuse buzzwords. It's recycling. We're green. There,
Oh,
and it's
right.
green. It's a laser. It's a green laser projector.
Nice.
Sorry.
I like it.
Now you're just making stuff up.
No, it's like, the lamp life on that thing is probably 20,000 hours.
I think I actually saw a beta version of this just a few days ago, which I am finding, and I'm going to post to Twitter as we speak. I think this was the test project. I ran across it the other night in London. And, I just tweeted it, so take a look, guys.
It was in a Kia Optima, though.
No, it wasn't a Kia Optima.
It was a guy running around with two flashlights taped to his head.
No, it was actually a guy parked in a parking lot not too far from my house with a, it's got a large break wall that's all concrete. And it's, about 12 o'clock at night, and he's parked out there in his car, turned off, with a projector sitting on the roof.
Well,
I'm not
creating
kidding.
his own drive-in movie.
well, here's
Yeah.
the thing. It's he's watching Iron Man at least. I mean, that's the
He
nice
is.
thing. So
But tell me that's not pretty comical.
yes.
That's what Mercedes was cheating from.
That's what they got the idea.
They saw
All
it and
right.
went, oh, we got to do this.
All right, let's move on, please. From CE Pro, Bjorn Jensen, how to protect clients from home automation hacker bots. This is not the first time we've talked about hackers and AV systems before, but you know what? It bears repeating and it bears going after again. Mr. Scott, you deal a lot with residential. Is this a huge deal for people to break in and hack people's automation systems, lights, HVAC systems?
I've never seen it happen. The closest thing I've seen is, and it's not really hacking, but we have a lot of clients that are all friends, and they all have Sonos, and one of them likes to drive by his friends' homes and park outside and change all their music. That would be the closest that I've ever actually seen. We come across it occasionally where people get very concerned that their system's going to be hacked. As a rule, it does become one of those things where I don't really think that's the goal of most hackers. I don't think they care. And as long as we're smart as integrators and, are doing those very, very basic things like changing ports and, changing default usernames and passwords and doing things such as that, I don't think it's going to become a huge issue. And if it does, starts to grow into something that we have to address, then that's when, in all honesty, we're going to want to be leaning on our manufacturers to put some better control in.
Well, I wish that we had a manufacturer on this very podcast.
I know.
See, I'm not paying attention because we don't have this problem.
Well, I know you don't have this problem, but let's say in theory that there was a control company that lived exclusively on the internet, right? They were let's say cloud-based control company. Wouldn't that, in theory, give themselves open up some doors to possibly hack it, Kevin?
Well, that not only in theory but in reality would be kind of ridiculous because to me you're now relying solely on the cloud And as you know, you never interrupt the service of the cloud, right? The cloud is always there. But if you're putting it out there like that, well, now you need to start looking at, authentication and, 8021X and those type of things, which we already do. So if you want to do secure passkeys, if you want to do, whatever you can possibly do to secure your system, you need to make those same features available so that you can avoid any intrusion or any of that.
Well, again, I think it comes down to if someone decides they want to hack it and they have enough skills, there's nothing they can't hack. Anonymous shows us that quite, almost on a weekly basis now. So, again, I do think it really comes down to how many people are saying, you know what, I can't wait to hack Matt Scott's lights.
That would be me.
I know. And I know you're working on it, but I'm staying one step ahead.
All right. George, is this a big deal, hacking people's houses and stuff, or will it possibly become a big deal?
I think it depends on which manufactured device you're using. Like Kevin says, there are some that are way ahead of the curve and have proprietary systems and highly recommend all these changes and security stuff that you should do standard. The ports, as Matt said, the passwords, etc., right? I think, though, when you get to some of the middle-level home automation that's both end-user used and a dealer or some kind of integrator that's both are doing it, your likelihood for leaving open security holes or having an open-sourced software that can be hacked at some point becomes more likely. So that middle market's probably a problem in my mind. Eventually, yeah, but it's not right now. I mean, your standard protection, right?
Well, here's the thing. Kevin or Matt mentioned anonymous, and I guess my whole thing is eventually people, the more they put on home automation, the more likely it will be that people will want to start hacking them because, well, there's security and there's this, that, and the other, and there are cameras and stuff. So that's where I guess that's where I come from. So,
well, there was an article a couple of days ago. Was it CE Pro or was it something else about how wireless routers are not safe and there's nothing you can do about it? There's some direct attacks that can happen without knowing the password if you're even semi-literate in Unix and stuff like that a lot of hackers can get into. And I'll find it for reference, but
you can hack just about any Wi-Fi router in a matter of moments.
Yes.
Wow.
Affirmative, which is why it's awesome that everybody wants to go there. It just makes it convenient.
The fear is
it makes it very easy for people who want to show up somewhere and not pay for Wi-Fi.
Well, yeah, because that's all they're going to do with it, Matt. Isn't it?
I sense a ban on computers coming.
Oh,
you know what?
What?
That's what they should do.
Don't be quiet.
Background checks in the computer.
They're taking our guns. They're taking our computers. Next thing you know, they're going to take my soda. Wait a minute. I don't live in New York.
No, that's New York. They're working on that.
Sorry, George. How big can you get a 5-ounce soda in New York? Is that how big?
I have no idea.
Jeez. All right.
It's actually a thimble now.
A thimble, yes.
Soda, so I don't know. It didn't affect me, so I was like, all right.
One shot at a time, 1 ounce. Hit me again. All right.
From all day. What do I know?
From Mashable. This is, you know what? Last week I wrote a blog post about 4K, and Mr. Iselli gave me all kinds of crap about it.
We talked about it.
We did.
Don't say I gave you crap about it.
No, we talked. We talked.
You came to the conclusion. I was correct.
Yes. Which, honestly, 99...
Because I could agree. Here's the thing, though, Tim. I could have agreed with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
Oh, jeez. You know what?
You know what I like to say? Everybody has the right to be wrong.
I use that right rather regularly. But I am excited about this. I don't know why. It's like the poor punk kid who keeps asking the girl out to the dance, and she keeps saying maybe. When the LG PR manager, LG being the guys who make TVs and microwaves and refrigerators, Hung Shin told reporters, curved TVs are coming in the second half of this year. And I don't know that he did the air quotes, but I'm doing the air quotes for him. Curved TVs, in other words, OLEDs, are coming in the second half of this year, quote unquote. First of all, Mr. Scott, do we believe him? And secondly, how big of a deal is this?
I believe every press release and everything that comes out of any VP or higher.
Then I have an
mouth.
XTP series switch to sell you. All right.
Yes, you do. I can't wait to get it. I know it's coming. I'm just waiting here patiently. I'd love to say that it'll come. I don't know. It's the same thing. We always wait for all these new products, and the TVs are notoriously bad for this type of manufacturers. I mean, are notoriously bad for talking about products that are coming and that never ever show up. What I'd love to know is if he, has any sort of price point whatsoever. Because again, I don't really care if it comes to the market, but it's $35,000. What am I supposed to do with that? I don't know about you guys, but I don't have a lot of clients that are jumping for that type of product at $35K.
No, but you will have some, and though there are the early adapters, thank goodness for them, because they're the people who make it possible for you and me to buy them at an affordable price, right?
That's true. Again, it'll be one of those things where these are those areas where I like to get excited because I am a geek. I sit down, I read the press release, I go, oh, goody, it's coming. And, do twinkly fingers in front of me. Ooh, my pretty. But then I just kind of forget about it till it actually shows up. And it shows up in my SKUs and I can buy it. And once it shows up in my SKUs and I can buy it, especially being in Canada, that's when I actually start to get excited.
Oh, yes. That's got another 5 years to wait.
Well, I know, and that's what I mean. You guys will get stuff, and we'll be waiting, and I'll be calling distributors and reps, and they'll be like, oh, yes, it's coming, hence why I believe them. And then, 2 years down the road, once you guys have said, yeah, we don't really care anymore, then it's like, hey, you guys can time shift.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Can't you just drive across the border and buy it and bring it back?
Yes. It's not a very smart business decision if I'm doing it for clients. The main issue comes with the fact that then I got to pay tax anyways.
Oh, okay.
Because again, it's not like it's going to be our daily. What's our daily limit now? $400 across the border per person.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's if you're only over for 24 hours. If you're over for 7 days, it's up to I think $800 now, $1,200, something like that. Either way, it's not like you're going to bring it across and not have to pay tax and duty and everything else on it. So if it's something that's, for example, the Sony 4K, yeah, I can go buy it, but you know how much crap I'm going to get in trying to bring that back across the border? Because it's over 10K, I now have to declare it, go through the whole process, because technically, if I don't, it's considered money laundering.
Matt,
and I get hit.
Haven't you ever seen Breaking Bad?
Oh, I have. Our border's not the same as the Mexican border.
Okay. Mr. Iselli, one of the things that you and I did discuss was the size of the 4K display we talked about last week. This guy, the guy from LG, is talking about, 80 inches at an OLED at 80 inches. Is that a little bit more exciting than a smaller one?
No, I think OLED in general is exciting. I mean, I've been on bated breath for almost as long as Matt now, 3-4 years for this. But yeah, I'm one of those, I'll believe it when I can actually go and buy it, because, we were supposed to have the 55-inch last year. Then it was first quarter this year. Then it was by the end of February this year. Now it's April, and April's almost over, and we still haven't seen it hit the shelves yet.
It'll be here really soon, Kevin. Really soon.
Really soon. Yes.
Trust me, I saw it on the internet.
Quantify soon, right? But actually, with something Matt said, it was kind of, and I'm going to use this actually, Matt, just so you know. So I'm going to give you full credit.
Nice.
I'm going to blame Canada. He said he's a geek, right? And we all are. But I think what we forgot is geeks always are doing the same thing. We're always looking forward. Right, we want to see what's the next thing, and what did Matt follow that up with? Yeah, it's great if it's coming, but if it's $35,000, I'm not going to do anything about it. Which then, Tim, the story that I said. I put in 3 40-inch plasmas into a job that were 640 by 480 at $34,000 a piece. And today you can get, you go into Starbucks, grab a venti, and you get a 60-inch LED with that. So yeah, there's
Only
always
if you use your gold card, though.
I have one of those.
I don't have one of those. No.
I have. It's probably not a Canadian promotion.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sorry, I threw you
This
off.
would not
Go
be
back.
gold. No. But again, there's going to be that initial hit to the pocket, and again, there's also those people, and Tim and I know how we describe those people, right?
Yes.
That are like, I got to have that because there could be, some unbeknownst attractive young lady that I'm going to wow with a TV, right? But it'll get there. It'll definitely get there. I have seen some of the things that Samsung's doing, and I show some of these videos as well, which are to me more impressive of the future than even just that simple OLED that we're waiting for right now.
Well, yeah, there is that. I mean, because there was a video you sent me a couple years ago, and I think that you still use in your classes where, they're pounding the crap out of the OLED.
Oh yeah,
screen.
the hammer.
Yeah.
But honestly, looking at this article, I would say the fact of it being curved.
But what about gamers? I mean, you could.
No. I'm just talking about the whole curved display. I've seen curved displays, and I am very underwhelmed. To me, whether the display is curved or flat, when you're starting to get into the size that is so immersive like that, 80 inches and larger, depending on your viewing position, curved display versus flat display, to me, this is me personally, no, I don't care. Just give me an OLED, please.
Yeah.
See, and I would second that completely. Unless, I'm in a room where I'm 16 feet away from the screen and it's 140 inches and it's a Stewart curved film screen, I could care less if it's curved or not.
Yeah.
I do not notice a difference. Other than obviously you look at it and go, oh, wow, it's curved. But as far as enjoyment, no.
You do notice a difference when you have to pay for it.
Well, yes, you definitely notice a difference when you pay for it or when we bill for it. But, yeah, no, I could care less.
All right, George.
Give me something cool. Make it show up.
Yeah, that's
in Canada.
Jeez. Are we going to see this thing the second half of the year?
Oh, I don't know about that. We'll have to see what the next few trade shows are going to do.
Hang on for a second. You said, what was it? Was that the 2012 show?
Both.
Both. Yeah, both.
2 years in a row, I've declared it the year of the OLED. Yes, I have. That's me.
By the way, I'm still waiting for Cisco to buy Control 4, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean,
Why
look,
would
the
you
whole
say that?
Oh, don't.
The whole
It's a long
immersive
story.
thing.
Don't even get him started,
Don't get him
Kevin.
into. Please don't.
We don't have that much time.
Kevin, don't encourage him. So, as I was saying, I think these screens, like the immersive thing, like we've said about 4K, it's really the immersive thing when we're talking like high tech training, maybe high end gaming, maybe for something like the medical industry with the robotics and the surgery that they do and stuff like that. Other than that, unless I've got a fancy curved walls and an 80s house in Florida, I don't know where I'm putting this.
Yeah.
Again, they look a little goofy when they're on a wall.
So don't put them on a
Unless
wall.
it's a curved wall.
No, I know, but
it's a
that's
curved wall, yeah.
where do TVs go?
Oh, they
As
go
a
everywhere.
rule, especially in our industry.
In our industry, they go on the walls. Yeah, that's
They
true.
go on the wall.
Yeah.
Not above fireplaces.
No, please.
Yeah, never see that.
No, ever.
Oh, if you put this one above the fireplace and it's curving, you could like freak people out and say, "Oh, it's melting."
You know what? It might curve some more.
Yeah, there you
just
go.
so y'all know. All right, you are listening to AVWeek. That's Kevin Iselli from Crestron, Matt Scott from Omega Audio Video, and Mr. George Tucker from World Stage. This comes to us from Device, and I saw this story and I immediately thought of Mr. Tucker, who famously said on this show almost 2 years ago, "I am not a gesture," talking about hand gesturing and control. Samsung is developing a tablet that you can control with EEG. You don't know what that is? That's when they put monitoring electrodes on your head and you can control it with your brain. So, Mr. Tucker, are we going to put electrodes in the back of my brain and let me control my Crestron system?
Well, there's a whole subset of body hackers out there who are doing things just like that, right? Mm-hmm. Some of these people are putting like microchips in their stuff and these little super magnets inside their fingers to help grab stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
and do and it accentuates the gestures and
Right. It's sort of the inverse of the modern primitives who did all the big holy loops in their ears and the nose piercings and stuff. But these guys are going the other way by putting technology in themselves. I actually like this idea, and I am not a jester. It sort of fits right in with that for me. Although, and I do love the sort of Apollo era head.
Well, yes, the picture is very nice.
Yeah,
The picture's fantastic.
it's like, and there's some steampunk people I think that would probably think that's pretty cool, and nice little brass fittings on it. It would look kind of cool. But I think this is something that we will see more and more of. Wasn't there a game a couple of years ago in which you could control something with your mind with the EG? It would lift up the little ball or sphere. I couldn't remember what it was. You guys don't remember this? No? All right. But yeah, it was the mind benders or something of that nature. I can't remember exactly, but you could train your mind to be stronger. But on that subject, I really do like this idea eventually to be able to say, hey, I'm just thinking about it. If I train myself to understand how to think about it, it'll work. And I can see this working, like, say, with Google Glass. You've heard about Google Glass. There's now a wink feature. Like, supposedly they're going to release this where you can wink and you can take a picture. So why would I want to do that if I've got Google Glass or some other personal, heads-up display computer system? I just want to be able to have a little sensor that's on the side of each side of the glass, my little eyeglasses, and say, okay, take picture, or move myself just a certain way. I think there's a lot of potential.
Gee, a lot of potential for trouble.
Well, that's the thing, and think about the fights over the remote control on this device.
I want to wear the hat.
No, but I'm saying this is post-hat, dude. This is post-hat.
Yeah, this is like a chip in the back of your ear or something, and
or just on, like I said, a pair of glasses.
Yeah,
a couple of sensors. It reduces down to a couple of sensors in 3 to 5 years.
I would be so imprisoned. It's just
All right, but Kevin, in all sort of seriousness.
No, fantastic. I think it's a great idea to further the whole exploration. I look at what doing this could potentially do is the reverse. Right. Now you start to look inside, let's say, the human mind and how it works more, as opposed to how can I get it to create a latte for me.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Or maybe,
research both ways, let's say.
Yes. Mr. Scott, can you imagine selling this to somebody?
No.
No.
Come on, I saw a customer today who's still having trouble with a universal remote control.
But this is the ultimate universal remote.
Yeah,
right?
I know, but you know how many times they're going to be like, maybe I should watch HGTV. Maybe I should watch Lifetime. Maybe I should watch Vision. And it'll just go nuts. And I'll be getting calls. You know what? I was thinking this and it changed the channel, but I wasn't thinking that I wanted to change the channel. I was just thinking maybe I should change the channel. No, I don't want to see this at all.
No, it'll be like watching TV with my dad. Change.
Exactly.
Why is it always your commercials?
Yeah.
Matt, I just had the sudden thought that can you imagine someone who's schizophrenic using this?
Oh, wow.
Well,
schizophrenic remote control.
Again, that comes down to the whole issue with all this kind of stuff is it's figuring out how it will integrate into what we're doing on a daily basis will be the hard thing. The technology is insanely cool. But even between my wife and I in our house, there are so many things that I want differently than she does. And if it's something where, yes, only one person can control the system at one time, great.
it's her.
I know, but what's the point? It'll become something where you both want to control it at the same time. And if it's thought-based, it's just constantly going to be happening. I'm constantly going to be turning down a light. She'll be turning that light back up until the point where we fry the stinking dimmers.
Okay, but how is that different from now? And I'm not trying to be funny
now
here.
You got to get off your butt to go do it. Or you got to actually, physically touch a button. There are many times I've sat there going, man, I really should turn that light down because it's bugging me. But I got to at least reach across the countertop or the table or wherever to hit the control for it. Yeah, I won't get it yet.
All right. Okay, moving on. This is the one that I actually need the three of you because this one doesn't make any sense to me. Digital surround sound or DTS HD surround sound for mobile devices.
Dumb. Sorry.
What? Oh, there we go. That into that conversation.
Are you kidding? I saw the commercial for what was it? It's one of the new cell phones, and it's an HTC talking about how it has high def speakers forward facing.
to better experience the phone. It's talking about true surround, true HD quality audio with integrated amplifiers. And I'm looking at it, and it's thinner than my iPhone, going, yeah, no. I'm sure it's better than, the mono in some of the phones, but who cares?
Well, is this even possible?
All those friendly people that think good quality is watching a video for their favorite song on YouTube. Hold on, let me plug this YouTube video into your reference speakers because it'll sound awesome.
Go ahead, George.
Well, I don't not to disown what Matt says, but you're wrong. No. Think about the second screen. This is what this is all about. It's not about plugging it into your big system. It's not about plugging it in or even having a media room. It's about the second screen that is happening. People are watching almost, half, maybe 60% of their content on computers or tablets. This is a way to at least improve the sound, whether it's on headsets or from the speakers on the system. Is it what you want? No. And is it going to reach that level? Of course not. But that psychoacoustic processed surround sound that some people are very used to and are willing to accept will improve that second screen and will actually help migrate people towards doing it more. So that's what I think they're going after with this, especially when, was it Dolby? You said the True HD, which is on a phone or a phablet or something of that nature. That's what this is all about. What is it? The Swanee says, he does tvpredictions.com for years, has been predicting that nobody wants these second screens. Nobody will watch these things. And I call it the Swanee inverse square law. Every time he mentions it, the people doing it doubles. So that's
maybe he should get out of the business.
And again, my thing comes down to, are you really getting DTS HD out of a couple of speakers on a tablet in 5.1? I think not.
You're getting the psychoacoustic version of that, which makes you think you heard it from behind you. But
I know.
But it's a second screen, so no one's expecting it to be what you think it's going to be, though. No one's expecting that.
Well, are you not listening? I totally am.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's not.
I'm not saying it's realistic. I'm just saying that's what I'm expecting.
Matt, do you expect high fidelity quality the same as listening to a record when you buy an MP3?
No, but I know better.
Well, then you should know better with this.
I know. My issue comes down to the marketing side of it.
Okay.
To say it has DTS in it? Are you kidding?
No, it's marketing.
No.
Well, it's a form of DTS. Dolby has many versions.
I know, but they need to be clarifying that it's DTS mobile.
That's valid.
Yeah, all right.
That's all I want to see. I don't care if you're making DT. Like, I remember having a tape deck that supposedly had DTS in it.
Well,
I just want to know.
Sound reduction, wasn't it? That was like a sound reduction or a noise reduction.
Yeah, it was NR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine because it said NR. But no, I remember going through this with a client. He pulled it out, and we were trying to get him to upgrade to a much better receiver that had all these different DTS modes for Blu-rays and all this other stuff. He's like, "Well, why do I need that? My old stuff had that." No, it didn't. This is all new, blah, virtual stuff and Nero Cinema and stuff. He's like, "Well, no, my old stuff does. See, look, Dolby," and he showed me an NR tape deck, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's the same company. It's not the same thing."
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, they do call it DTS HD layered audio. So I don't know if that's part of the full name or if that's just their description of it. I'm curious.
Now, what would be awesome is if it's going to allow these devices to decode this type of stuff. So if you're streaming from your phone to your TV or to your system, that you could then pull a full surround mix out of it.
I think you're still missing the point. People aren't watching it on the big screen.
Well, that's their own fault.
Well, can't argue there.
No, and again, I'm one of those people, right, who I watch things on my big plasmas, on my 32-inch in my bedroom, on my iPhone in bed. Like, I'm totally down with the second screen. It just, again, I don't like it when they try to make it sound like it's more than it is.
Can you look at something real quickly?
Okay.
You're no fun.
I'm sorry.
Well, he has a point there. I mean, Kevin, is this anywhere near? Like Matt said, it's not exactly surround sound. So maybe they should change the marketing.
Well, the way they present this to the average reader, I would say, BMW and their Nautilus series, they better pack it up because I can get that right on my iPad now.
Exactly. Why do you need it? Why do you need a Nautilus?
Why do I need
you
all
don't?
that stuff? Right?
You
Why
kidding? I got a Galaxy Note.
Dude, I totally immersive. People across the block are telling me to turn my phone down.
Jeez, you guys are ridiculous.
With anything like with Matt, I think it was Matt or George that was talking about the new phone that actually has the forward-facing speakers.
Yeah, that was me.
I'm all about that because there's nothing worse than trying to see something in a slightly noisy environment and you can't hear it because you gotta turn the phone to the side of your head and now you look like an idiot.
Yeah,
because the video's playing out to people and you're trying to listen.
Or you develop that method of cupping the phone in your hand just right, so you can actually hear it bounce off your hand. Yeah,
off your hand, yes. Yeah, fantastic. So I'm all about the front speakers, but multi-channel? Seriously? No.
All right.
I would be happy if they could get multi-channel out of, a single soundbar that's really, really good.
Well, it's really going to be impressive when they can take one physical driver, one speaker, and give me 7.1. Then I'll be impressed.
And it's only got to be 3 inches.
That's
None
correct.
Of this 6-inch, 8-inch.
And wireless.
And a third of a watt.
Yeah. Runs off a 9-volt battery. A rechargeable 9-volt battery.
Well, here's what's going to happen. Yeah, I was going to say, you said rechargeable. The moment they get it to run off a 9-volt battery, they'll stop making 9 volts. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But how come we're having this conversation, and how come I can see some engineer who actually eventually hears this goes, oh, we should work on that.
Someone's going to.
Yeah.
Don't you guys have a speaker line? Chop, chop.
Yeah, really.
Send it to Jersey.
Yeah, send it to Jersey.
Yeah, well, there's only really 3 people that actually make speakers.
We'll send it to one of them.
We could ask them.
Yeah. Don't we need?
This kind of reminds me, and I was teasing Tim earlier about the same thing as I'm again going through this whole DTS thing. Sorry to bring it up again, but big news: Ghostbusters gets mastered in 4K for Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Right? This
Can't wait
was
to
news.
watch it.
Yeah, well, it was funny because it said maximum picture, expanded color, mastered in 4K, and then when you read the liner notes, it says. Will play, sets the standard for Blu-ray HD picture and sound, creating the ultimate 1080p home entertainment experience.
Yeah.
Huh.
But it'll be on a 4K disc.
Yeah, so eventually when someone realizes that you can't put 4K content on a Blu-ray, we'll maybe get some ground.
Don't tell them.
Oh, you have to own the marketing term. It's 4K like.
4K LTE, just in 1080.
4K LTE.
Yeah,
We're down converting.
Yes, we're down converting. We started off at 4K, which is funny because film is actually more than that.
Vastly more.
That was the conversation Tim and I had. So what
Don't
you're telling
tell
me?
anyone.
You took film video, made it worse, and then mastered it from that.
Yes,
Fantastic.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
All of those things are true.
All of those things are true. Yes. All right. Let's continue talking about movies. 4DX version of Iron Man 3 has tilting seats, fog, wind, and odor effects, so you can smell Robert Downey Jr.
I'm waiting for the Gwyneth scenes, though.
Well, there is that. Do you know she's the most beautiful woman in the world?
Is that why everybody hates her?
Yeah. Here recently, she was named the most beautiful woman in the world. It was Gwyneth Paltrow, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so Mr. Iselli, when does Crestron come out with their residential line to reproduce 4DX?
Seriously?
Yes, seriously. I can see it now. The DMPS 4DX. So help me if you guys come up with one of those.
Well, let's put it this way. A very intelligent person that I know dearly has actually used a Crestron system to run the windshield wiper motor, the fluid motor, so that when the cat used to come up to the touchscreen and play with the house, when the person wasn't home, it would literally just squirt the cat with water. So are we there? Sure. Anything's possible. You want us to control a fog machine and spray some lights or spray some Let's just call it liquid. All right.
Odor.
Spray some liquid. Do odor. Sure, why not?
And wind. Don't forget the wind.
Yeah, we
And
can
tilt
control
the
that.
seats. By the way, if you want to see this movie, you have to go to Japan. It's in Japanese theater. George, is this anything that we have to concern ourselves with when it comes to Pro or even Resi?
It's an interesting question. I wasn't even maybe not yet.
Resi,
I know.
yes.
I hate to be so decisive on this one.
You
know.
do.
I'm going to come right down flatly in the middle. There you go. Both legs straddling the fence. There you go.
Watch it.
That there is something to be said that somebody who really wants this, and there are gaming seats. Remember, there was the gaming seats with the noise and with the motor
And the
sensors.
rumble.
Yes,
Oh,
too.
they're so cool too.
And some of them do tilt and have that little action, sort of like a video game. For someone who really wants something like this, I think it's possible. I mean, it is highly specific to the movie, but you could do something that would be able to read off of the film and say, oh, it's wet now or it's cold, make it chilly or something.
Well, I remember the first 3D movie that I saw was actually it's still playing. Was the Muppet movie at Disney World, Hollywood Studios, and it had fog. It had actual animals not animals, but Muppets in the seats, and sprayed water at you.
Well, yeah, I did I don't know, Raiders of the Lost Ark or, some sort of movie thing experience like that at one of the theme parks. And yeah, it was fun. I can't really see it in most home situations at all. The farthest we usually get with that is, putting in a butt kicker to shake a chair. Yeah,
We call them base shakers.
Well, yeah, I'm
Same thing.
proprietary to the lovely drum thrown ones. We find they're very, very quick.
Yeah, well, you also got to remember, like, George was talking about the gaming chairs. Like, D-Box has that VRX, I think it is, or VRZ.
Something
That
like
thing's
that, yeah.
amazing at $35,000 a chair. Right, but you start to think, what do you have to then? Can you imagine the holodeck we need to create all the sights and sounds and hey, I think I just figured out what the answer is. Let's just make holodecks.
Let's just make holodecks. Yeah. Don't get me started on holodecks, please.
Can you? But seriously, let's think about if you're going to do, temperature. You're going to do, tilt, angle of tilt. You're going to do sounds. Obviously, we have that part, but you're going to start to include smells.
Mm-hmm.
Think of how well Yankee Candle can come out on this.
Jeez.
Don't forget polyester.
That is
there's going to be a whole industry on creating stink.
Aromatherapy surround or surround
Aroma-
aromatherapy.
7.1
Aroma sound.
Wow.
Aroma surround? Surround aroma?
Surround aroma.
I like that. Surround aroma.
Surround aroma.
Good.
And then we'll have different levels, like 5.1, 7.1, 12.1.
That's awesome.
Have like a chemistry set in the back, and then just,
That's what I mean. You're going to have this whole oh boy. This is going to be great.
we're going to give somebody some $1 million idea, and the rest of us.
Welcome to Smell-O-Vision.
Oh, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did tell us that it was coming. It was, granted, it was a Tex Avery
As
cartoon,
is.
and it was 60s, but
As is OLED.
yeah. Oh, very nice. All right. From the Register, which is a fine British publication, SanDisk is 2 to 3 years away from mass producing 3D chips. No, I'm not a big fan of 3D. Actually, Bradford Ben apologized to me on Twitter for going to see a 3D movie the other day. It was very funny. But Kevin, when it comes to storage and stuff like this, when it comes to, you guys just released a brand new processor, the 3 Series. Well, you didn't release it, but
It's not 3D.
I know it's not 3D, but that's where I'm going. Is the reason you were able to do that was because of the advances in technology since your 2 Series, right? So is this the fact that they're getting into this quote unquote 3D storage? Is this going to help people like you guys and people who develop computer? And let's be honest, that's what a control system is. It's just a giant computer. Is it going to help you guys further on and develop even cooler things when it comes to automation?
Oh, sure. I mean, when you start, and I correct me if I'm wrong. They're not talking about 3D video. They're talking about actual.
No. 3D
Yeah, okay.
chips, like 3D storage.
Right, because I was reading this, and you said 3D movie. I was like, oh, is that anything like 3D Doritos?
Wow. I haven't
remember those?
I
Remember
do.
those?
Unfortunately, I
Fantastic.
do. They're like puff pastries.
No, I think this is actually a great step, because I think when we start doing that, or when they start to progress this, you'll see actually not only for the flash side of things, but SSDs or even solid state drives, you can get, let's say, higher density. You can do much more with this technology. And then again, as soon as you start doing it 3D versus the 2D, as they were describing it, you now get to shrink everything. In fact, I think SanDisk just came out with. No, I'm sorry. Western Digital was showing this like nano drive, which was like 500 gig, and the thing is like half the size of an iPhone. So it's fantastic. Smaller. However, more capacity.
Yeah,
right?
more capacity.
That's what I think is fantastic, is the fact that they're able to shrink it even further now, remaining even higher speeds. More capacity, faster access. I mean, all of that makes it definitely more attractive. I think this is a big thing.
Matt, when it comes to home, you do home and at both houses of worship and some pro stuff. Is how big of a deal is it not only just for home theaters and home video systems, but also for the house of worship, where let's be honest, they play an awful lot of videos.
Yes, they do. It'll be better as it starts to get deployed and used in some of the devices that obviously we're purchasing and speccing. Until then, it really won't have a huge instantaneous effect. But again, as it starts to come down the line and starts to be used and picked up, it'll definitely help.
Mr. Tucker, World Stage does live events and things of that nature. Is this going to help you guys?
It might eventually, yes. I mean, if you get more storage on a smaller device, it would be very nice, although it's more likely to get lost these days. That's why we still use the Aja KaiPro drives, those big honking things that they're about the size of a wallet, so they're harder to lose. I just like, when you read the article, though, I like the idea or the information they're giving you about how these fabs, or they're fabricators, there's too many of them, and they're looking for ways to keep them busy, and this is one of the ways they're doing it. By saying, let's redesign the planar design of our little circuit chips and make them much more efficient. What I found really interesting is that there's too much space and too many facilities and not enough work, so they're looking for ways to increase it, which I guess is what business is supposed to do, is find innovation and keep people working. But we'll see.
So basically, they didn't have anything better to do.
Probably. Although it does have the great word of parasitic resistance in the article. I like that.
I love parasitic resistance.
Yeah, they're talking about the planar design, and how they are coming. The 3D concept gets around that by using this U-shaped format and blah 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 blah. But great term.
I knew some people that never mind.
It's like malleable logarithmic casing.
Gesundheit.
With pre-emulated amulite.
Stop it with the big buzzwords. All right, from Engadget, SES demos, Ultra HD transmission, Mr. Iselli. And if you've lost count, Ultra HD is what they're calling 4K. They're using it, uses the HEVC, High Efficiency Video Coding Standard. NEC actually, NEC is the, NRC, NRK, good Lord. NRK is the Japanese network, and good Lord, I totally lost this here. SES recently also did an Ultra HD transmission. NRK did one last year. So, Mr. Iselli, is the fact that somebody is developing Ultra HD, i.e. 4K transmissions, is that a good reason to buy a 4K TV? Maybe. No. Okay, never mind. Is it at least cool?
No.
Meh.
Jeez. Come on, guys.
And the crowd really just gets into it.
Good
night. Again, And George and Matt were not privy to the conversation Tim and I had the other day. When we start talking about 4K, it definitely has a fantastic fit in the industry. But I think one of the well, I don't want to call it the failure. One of the things that really puts me off about it is they have only shown 4K and OLED, let's say this technology, in one place, CES.
Mm-hmm.
It was not at Infocom. It was not at CEDIA, which fascinates me because when you start looking at its applications, when you go into 4K, and even with OLED because of its ability to accurately render color, but when you go into 4K, you're now talking medical, right? Where you can get imagery from MRI and CTI or CT scans and even let's talk about your standard X-rays. You're now approaching much better resolutions that you can see more detail. To the guy who's got a 50-inch that sits 10 feet away from it at home, you're going to tell me he's going to see the difference between a 4K and a 1080p? No.
All right.
Especially watching most of the content that he watches.
Oh yeah, well you got to remember.
Sorry to drop that ball, Mike.
That's correct. I mean, let's talk about that ball for a second. We're getting what out of our source devices?
Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch YouTube.
Yeah, 1080i 30, right? Tim hears me say this all the time. Can we at least get the 1080p first?
Yeah.
Remember, we skipped 2K. We're just on to 4K. Oh wait, no, 8K.
I would be highly happy to get, even 50 of the main channels here in full uncompressed 1080p.
No, you're not going to.
No.
The infrastructure won't support it. In fact, I read an article a couple weeks ago talking about even the broadcast community. The infrastructure will not support it. So they cannot do uncompressed, which is why this is at least a step in a direction that they're creating a compression protocol or compression algorithm that takes us down to using much smaller data rates. Because you can't get. And Tim's argument to this was, you can download 4K from YouTube. I was like, yeah, there's good quality content for you. We get to see Angry Cat in 4K.
Happy Cat's in 4K too.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's the whole thing, right? Is until they can get a delivery method that makes sense with content being produced in that level, again, whether it's compressed or uncompressed, that will be the turning point. Until then, again, I don't care that much about getting a 4K display. You know why? Because I'm not buying the red and going out and filming whatever I want every day. I'm filming on a stinking iPhone in 1080p compressed, and I'm okay with it.
What about epic rap battles in 4K?
Oh, now we're talking. Yeah, we got to have that.
You guys don't. I'll put a link to it.
Yeah.
It's epic rap battles of history. Just, yeah. The last one they did was Rasputin versus Stalin.
Hey, what are the Go cameras?
Are those Go cameras? GoPros? They're 1080. They're 1080. Most of them.
Yes, 1080.
And I want to say it's a H.264 compression.
So H.264, and this is what they're boasting in this article, is that
it's better than H.264.
Yeah, it's 20 megabits, right? So the compression rate of it is much lower than H.264. Oh, okay. Fantastic.
Well, it almost reads like a pat on the back. Hey, look what we can do. Awesome. Now, can we get anyone to jump on board and actually do it? No. I know our guys won't. Our two main broadcasters won't touch it.
You only have two broadcasters?
Two main broadcasters, yes.
Yes, and both of them are doing. What are you guys doing? 720s?
Yeah, almost everything's 720.
Yeah, everything's 720. So
there's the odd bit of upconverted, quote unquote air quotes, 1080, but it's not.
Yeah. The best you're getting out of terrestrial and your satellite providers or your cable providers is 1080/30.
Yeah. So,
which again isn't bad.
No, it's fantastic compared
to be better.
40,
But
But I said to Tim, we have content in 1080. We don't have content in 4K. And he says, well, don't you think the content's going to drive to the mechanism, or what? Did you say it the other way around?
I asked actually the question both ways, but here's the thing: I honestly think that the displays drive the content in much the same way that the processors drive software. Right? You can't build a piece of software that requires X amount of processing speed unless the processor's there. Just like the content creators aren't going to create content in 8K, let's say, if they're not creating displays for that, right?
No, but the producers will.
Really?
Right?
No.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. The NAB side of things. Yeah, the film side. They'll film in whatever's the highest res they can get, whether they can actually produce something in that or not. Because as long as they can produce it, huh?
They fix it in the mix.
Exactly.
We'll get to it in post. Yeah, that's exactly.
Yes,
what
we'll
it
get
is.
to in post. All right. Last but not least, on April 20th was Record Store Day, and I let my favorite record store buddy, Mr. George Tucker, talk about this for a second. It's when people were encouraged to go out and go out and purchase at your local record store. And it was the 6th anniversary of this, George?
I think so. Yeah, it's about the 6th anniversary, and it's focused on vinyl, but it's just going to a local store, whether they're selling CDs or actual records. It's about getting out and going to the experience of going to a record store. I mean, we're all probably of a certain age and age enough, even you, Mr. Scott, where the experience of first buying your album was in this store, where you have the experience of being around folks and about talking about music and about being able to interact and listen to something someone else said, hey, can you play this for a minute? I want to hear the first cut. And that really was something evocative. Sort of, I guess, like Shazam does or any of these sort of digital versions. But it's not the same, if you ask me. I still miss going into Bleecker Bob's and finding something new or finding that press of a version that I wanted that I couldn't find anywhere else.
I will agree. I definitely enjoy my records, although I did not make it out on Record Store Day this year. There was nothing more enjoyable than going into one of our local shops and walking downstairs where all the the hip hop and some of the other stuff that I was really into at the time was, and saying, dude, what you got anything new? What do you have that I haven't heard? And have them pull out some band or some group or some DJ you've never heard of, and they put it on. It's like, oh wow, that's really good, that's awesome. You pick it up, you take it home. Whereas now it's, you barely see anything, right? It becomes the whole, oh yeah, I heard this single on the radio, you should listen to it. And, if you follow us on, some of us on Twitter, we have a little group that we talk music and talk about what we're listening to every day. But in all honesty, it's all the same stuff. And there's nothing against, my friends that are in that little group online. But I do notice that for the most part, we listen to the same things. And every now and again, someone like Becky from Middle Atlantic sent me a message the other day on Twitter and asked if I had heard this new Robin Thicke song, which I hadn't. I heard a snippet of it, but not enough to make it a comment on it. And said, yeah, no, I'll definitely go check that out. And that's what it's become, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't go to a record store very often. If I'm going to buy something, most often it's either iTunes, or if I'm actually going to buy a CD, I'll pick it up from a Best Buy or a Future Shop or whatever, or Target, for heaven's sakes.
Not Target.
Believe it or not, yeah.
You have Targets?
We just got them. It's hilarious.
Well, they have your colors, they're red and white. So
They are very Canadian in that sense.
all right.
I would be, as far as the record store day, it would be much cooler if we could just do it on iTunes.
We could do it in Second Life and have an iTunes store there.
Yes,
That would be
Show up
awesome.
and be like, hey yo,
Hey yo, what's up?
nice.
Have your little avatar with your little Sam Goody T-shirt on. So
Sam Goody, good call.
yeah. All right. Between now and actually in InfoComm, we're going to highlight a couple of different sessions that we think that are kind of cool. This week's is an entire Super Tuesday program called Future Trends. It's got a bunch of people on here. Duffy Wilbert from Infocom will be there. Peter Putman, Scott Scherer, Rowan Trollope. His name is Trollope.
We'll go
Trollope.
with that.
Yeah. And if you are ever interested in getting a DMCE, which stands for engineer, right,
Yes.
Mr. Iselli?
I'm sorry. Say it again, please.
The DMCE.
Yes, the E is for engineer.
Thank you. I don't have one.
I thought you said T. I'm sorry.
No, E is for engineer. T is for technician.
That's correct.
All right, but Mr. Iselli is teaching an E class at Infocom as well. So sign up for both of those if you're interested.
Better hurry. I only got 48 spots.
Jeez. How many do you have left, though?
I know it sounds like a joke. I have 48 spots. I can't tell you how many are used, but when we did it in Florida a year ago, there was 72 openings available, and it was filled in 2 days.
Well, there you go. So, yes, hurry up. He only has 48 spots. So, all right. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us. That gentleman there is the senior curriculum developer for Crestron, better known as the DMC guy. His name is Kevin Iselli. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tim.
Also with us is Mr. Matt Scott. Oh, what do you want? Do you want anybody to come find you on Twitter, Mr. Kevin?
No.
Okay. Matt has 5
No,
Twitter handles. He has enough for both of you.
I don't want to talk to them.
Mr. Scott from Omega Audio Video. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for waiting for me.
How can people get a hold of you if they want to track you down and stalk you?
You can find me on Stalk Me. Well, that's pretty easy to do. But you can find me on Twitter at Matt D. Scott, at Omega Audio Video, at Matt Scott's Hair, and a couple others. Or you can find me on Facebook at or facebook.com/Matt D. Scott, and on Twitter and on LinkedIn as Matthew Scott.
All right.
But what you can't do is find him in his office.
Well, that is
Not
true.
on time, anyways.
All right. And last but not least, Mr. George Tucker from World Stage. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
And where can people find you?
If you're on social media, it's Tucker2s, Tues.
Tues. All right. If you don't follow me, go to our website, AVNation.tv. AVNation.tv. You can find this show as well as all the monthly ones we do. We ramped up DIY again. It has a new episode that dropped actually today. This is Friday. We're recording this. Social is coming back as well. We have a State of Control, which is a control podcast, and our education one. So go to avnation.tv, avnation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. This has been AV Week.